विदधाति पूर्वम् यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तं देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशम् मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादित्यो ब्रह्मविद्या सम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशर्षिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ओम्। वेदान्तार्थविभासकाय गुरवे शान्ताय सन्न्यासिने नानावादी नगेन्द्रसङ्घपवये योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभिधां बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततम् पूर्णाय बोधात्मने। The Dhyana shlokas of the Gita. We can chant together though your mics are off. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashaadhyayiniim Ambatvamanusandathami Bhagavad Gite Bhavatveshim. Namostute Vyasavishala Buddhe Pullaravinda Yatapatra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gita Amritadhe Namaha. Sarvopanishado Gavo Dobdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsasudhirvokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat Vasudeva Sutan Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Bhishmadrona Tata Jala Gandhara Nilotpala Shalyagrahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashwathama Ghora Makara Ashwathama Vikarna Ghora Makara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirna Pandavai Rananadi Kaivartaka Keshavaha Parasharyavachas Sarojam Namalam Gitardhagandhotkatam नानाख्यानककेसरम् हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयात् भारत पंकजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसि न श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्. Even that what is impossible becomes possible through
Swamiji, please unmute yourself.
Sorry, it had gotten on mute mode. Okay, but am I audible now?
Yes, Swamiji, you are audible.
Sorry. All right. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham vande paramanandamadhavam. Yat kripa means yasya kripa. The one whose grace makes even the impossible possible. To that Madhava, we salute. Tam vande, aham vande, I salute. What is impossible? Mukam karoti vachalam. That what looks, the person who is mute, without the one who is born or does not have the ability to speak, such a person is mute. And even a mute person becomes eloquent. He becomes eloquent, not only creating sounds. We all create sounds, but when those sounds that are produced by our vocal cords then become words, and words become sentences. And when those sentences are able to deliver meaning, then it is a meaningful speech. Then it becomes meaningful speech. Ordinarily speaking, we employ the speech, our ability, the faculty to speak, exhaust it all only talking about the world, talking about small things. And therefore, very often, most of us keep missing the essence of life. Whether it is the speech, whether it is the eyes, whether it is the ability to act, to conduct any actions, all this is possible, and it becomes possible with only one intention, and that is in discovering Paramatma, in wanting to discover Paramatma. Goswami Ji says, Siya Rama Sarupa Aghad Anup Vilochana Meena Nakochana. The form of Bhagavan Ram and Sita, which means to behold Paramatma is the only real purpose for these eyes, because my eyes are like the fish and Paramatma is the water. If the fish is taken out of the, if the fish is drawn out of the water, it will die. And therefore, the very life of this fish is water. When separated from the water, it will perish. And even before it perishes, it will have tremendous pain. It will flutter, struggle to reach the water. So also is the case with all our faculties. We open the eyes with an intention that today we will be able to see fulfillment. One eats food only with the intention that he will be completely, totally satiated. Whatever activities that every person does is only with a singular purpose, and that is wanting to discover that what is infinite, wanting to discover that which is limitless joy, ananta sukham. And yet, though this is the purpose with which one gets involved in the world, all his life the person keeps on missing it. Bhagavan Shankaracharya elsewhere writes, Pashyanapi cha na pashyati moodhaha. Though that what you are searching for is right in front of you, and yet it remains hidden away from you. Pashyanapi, though seeing, it remains unseen. Though there it is anavrita, without any cover, yet it somehow is missed. And therefore now we are saying the one by whose grace even that what is impossible becomes possible. You can become a prime minister or a president, a millionaire or something. There are ways, perhaps not now, maybe in some lifetime. But even for a millionaire and for the most powerful emperor also, it is not possible to be completely satiated, to be totally fulfilled. It appears impossible. And therefore people then settle for some compromised small thing, a little bank balance, a little popularity, a small group of friends, and that is all. It is just some sort of a consolation, but nothing more than that. That what appears to be impossible becomes possible by whose grace. Because yat kripa tamaham vande paramananda madhavam. The one by whose grace this becomes possible, and he gives two examples. Muka, the one who is muka, means the one who is mute, and the one who is handicapped, lame. For such a person to scale a mountain, to go on the top of a mountain, is difficult. impossible, but it becomes possible. To discover that becomes possible. The one whose grace makes it possible. In Vedanta, we say there are four types of graces: Kripa, Ishvara Kripa, Shastra Kripa, Guru Kripa, and Atma Kripa. Ishvara Kripa means the grace of God. One is already born with a body, with a mind, with the abilities to see, speak, hear, understand. This is not ordinary. This is extraordinary. That one is able to see, one is able to hear, one is able to think. Is not that itself an extraordinary thing? Ishvara's grace is there by which this one is born in this world and is endowed with these abilities. Ishvara Kripa, Shastra Kripa. Now, though born with these faculties, when we employ these faculties to discover the truth, but though one may want to know what is this truth, what is the reality, what is that ultimate destination, having reached where now there is a total rest. What is that which gives this absolute Vishranti? Somebody may say that having more money, having a bigger house, having more power and recognition could be there. It is not that. Because even the people who are sitting in high positions with plenty of money, yet with power and recognition, are still dissatisfied, unfulfilled. Therefore, we require a pramana that is going to show what is it. Brahmavidapnoti param. So the Shastra, the grace of the Shastra is that Shastra shows you this ultimate destination and also shows you the path which is dharma, by following which one will accomplish everything, artha, kama, and ultimately arrive at the doorstep of moksha. So thus all the four purusharthas, that what is sought by a person will all be fulfilled. And this is what is shown by the Shastra, by the scriptures, by the Veda, and therefore this is the grace of the Veda, without which how would one be able to follow the path of dharma and arrive at moksha? Therefore, it is the grace of the Shastra. The second one is the Shastra Kripa. The third one is called as the Guru Kripa. Though Shastra is there, but that Shastra becomes available to you through the teacher. And therefore, there is the grace of the teacher. And finally, Atma Kripa, that one has to make himself available to become the recipient of all these graces. They are already there, available in one's life. But though available and abundantly available, but to make oneself available to it is another thing. It is available, but are you available in order to meet it? That grace is called as Atma Kripa. So now over here, Paramanand Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam, which means all the four kripas, all the four types of graces are put together as the grace of Paramananda Madhavam. And to this Madhava, Madhava means, Ma means Lakshmi and Dhava means the husband. To Bhagavan Vishnu, Bhagwan, Narayana, I offer my salutations. Tamaham Vande. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim. Yat kripa tamaham vande paramananda madhava. And how is this Madhava? Paramananda Rupaha. His grace is also Paramananda. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedais Sangha Padakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam na vidusura suragana devaya tasmai namaha. Tasmai devaya namaha. Again, this is also in form of salutation. Salutation to that deva. Deva means the illuminous one. Okay? Swayam prakasha. Self-illuminous. Everything over here in this world requires something else to illuminate. All the colors and forms are illumined by the eyes. The presence and absence of the eyes with their abilities and sharpness, etc., is illumined by the mind. The mind is illumined by the ego, by the buddhi, and even this ego or buddhi is illumined by the self. Now comes the question, I am. What is it that illumines even this knowledge I am? And here we say everything else is illumined by the self, but the self does not require any other agency to illuminate. Even in the deep sleep, when the ego is absent, what is it that illumines the absence of ego? Ego is not the self. Even the thought I am is also illumined. What is it that illumines the presence and absence of the self? Presence and absence of the ego? That which does not require any other agency, and that which does not require any other source to illuminate, is self-illuminous. That is called as Deva. This is called as Deva. Tasmai Devaya Namaha. To this Paramatma, to this God, I salute. Namaha. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha. And how is this Paramatma? How is this self-illuminous Parameshwara? One, Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi, the one who is praised through Divyaistavaihi, through divine hymns by the celestial beings, by the gods in the heaven. Okay? And these are the overlords of those celestial worlds. Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, Maruta, etc. All these various celestial beings, they praise him with their divine hymns. So that which is worthy of praising, that which is worthy of praise, we all want to be praised by others, appreciated by others. And really speaking, praise has an element of little psychopathy too. But we will see over here, what do we mean by that praise? Divyaistavaihi. When you are going to praise someone, that you are extremely beautiful, that you are extremely generous, what a wonderful person you are. In all these words that we are using to praise someone, there is a little element of falsehood, if you will observe. extremely beautiful. Yes, we know all that the person wants to do is to praise him. But over here, when he's saying so, there is a little element, because what is extreme beauty? Well, beautiful is fine, extremely beautiful. What do you mean by that? So over here, there is a little element of falsehood. It is really not meant, but it is an exaggeration. But to keep on praising Paramatma, it is insufficient. It can never become exaggeration. When you are going to say Paramatma is infinite, it is a matter of fact. It is not a praise like saying somebody is extremely beautiful. It is just a matter of fact over there. Praise. So the way is the way he is tunvanti. So he is not being praised, admired by ordinary people. For us, for ordinary people, we are going to find someone, some person to idealize, and then we can praise him. Oh, he's my working hard. He's a scholar, so on and so forth. So we have reasons to say that we praise someone. Over here, Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, Maruta, various divinities who are what the overlords of the celestial worlds, not ordinary of the mortal worlds with their small little limitations. Even these divinities find that self-illuminous Deva as the only who is worthy of praise. Observe this, the person whom we are going to praise today, we may demean him tomorrow. The one who is being applauded today, the same person will be pulled down tomorrow. The newspapers and everything will be filled with praises, accolades for someone today. But the same person tomorrow will be accused, abused, defamed by the same newspapers again. Therefore, all the praises that come are actually just so flimsy, very slippery, and for those things we spend our life wanting to be praised, admired by others. But if we are able to discover that which is truly worthy of praises, not only by mortals, but not only by ordinary people, but even that Deva is being praised by the great overlords of the celestial world. And when this Paramatma is praised, because it is matter of fact, this is how Parameshwara is. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, etc. Over there, how the ignorance is destroyed, and there you discover that this Parameshwara is this very self. The one who is being praised. How so far you were hankering, longing to be praised by your neighbors and your relatives and your friends, or by some strangers on Facebook and other places. But in discovering this is what is the nature of Atma, you will find that I am not what to talk about these small little mortals and their appreciation, acceptance, and praise. This Atma, this Paramatma is being praised by the divinities, even in their celestial worlds, through their celestial divine hymns. Divaistavaihi parahayam, where is that? Stunvantihi. Yam stunvantihi. Vedaihi. Well, the gods in the heavens, etc., may be praising him. But what about people over here who are righteous? They also samagaha. Vedaihi sanga padakramopanishadaihi gayanti yam samagaha. The one who is being sung, the samagaha, the people who sing, recite the Vedas, samagaha, samagayan. They also sing the glories of this God through the Veda, through the methods of chanting the Veda from all the limbs of the Veda, from all the by the Vedangas, etc. Vedaihi Sanga Pada Krama Upanishadai Yam Samagaha Gayanti. So the one who is praised, the one who is sung, and the one who is beheld by the yogis in their state of samadhi. Dhyanavasthitatadgatena manasa. Because that mind of the yogi now is extremely subtle, calm, and in that mind, in their state of nirvikalpa samadhi, what is it that they behold? What is it that they see? What is their experience? That what they see is this Paramatma. Param Jyoti Dhyanavasthitatadgatena manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha. Yes, but though this God is being praised by the celestial beings, is sung by the uh, 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 by the people who recite the Vedas, through the Vedas, the one who is beheld by the by the yogis in their state of samadhi. So the one who is praised, the one who is sung, the one who is seen, and yet remains how? Yasyantam na vidusura suragana. The one whose limit, the one whose antam is not found even by the gods and demons. Anyone. Sura suragana devaya tasmai namaha. To this God I offer my salutations. So right from the first one, Bhagavad Gita is being praised in the first verse as the mother, as the compassionate mother. Then Bhagwan Vedavyasa, salutations were offered to Bhagwan Vedavyasa. Then to Bhagwan Shri Krishna. Then it was said Gita Amritam Mahat, that Shri Krishna is the cowherd, the one who milks the cow, called as the Upanishads. And the milk was actually for the baby calf, for the calf, and that calf was over there in that situation is Arjuna. But today even we are also able to get the nectar of this non-duality. Sudhir Bhoktaha. We are able to means the one who is Sudhi, the one who is of pure mind for those people. And then Vasudeva Sutam Devam, again Sri Krishna is being saluted over here. Bhishma Drona Jaya Jayadratha Jala. Then we were given the idea of the battle river. And the Pandavas were able to go across this battle river because the boatsman was Sri Krishna. He could wade through those waters and bring the Pandavas to safety, take them across, even when the river was full of all dangers. Every step was a danger. There was no moment free from the impending danger. So over here, that battle river was crossed over. So also in our life, we will be also able to cross this battle, the conflicts, and go across and discover that peace when the boatsman is Shri Krishna. Okay, mukam karoti vachalam. So that what is even impossible becomes possible due to the grace of God, due to the grace of this Madhava. To this Madhava, I bow down. And then finally, the one who is being praised, the one who is being sung, the one who is seen by the yogis, by the gods, by the people who recite the Vedas, that God whose whose limit, whose end is not known even to the celestial beings or to the uh, to the demons, Sura and Asuras, anyone. Tasmai Devaya Namaha, to this God. So these are the verses of Gita Dhyanam. Now, the situation of Gita when Gita was imparted is all well known. I need not reiterate the history around it, but a little background where the Pandavas and the Kauravas are the two camps over here. In Mahabharata, all the characters, it is not that somebody is totally clean and somebody is absolutely black, because we know there is everybody is in a shade of gray, but some Pandavas, etc., are more on the side of righteousness. At least they respect righteousness. They want to follow righteousness and they are striving hard to follow righteousness. Okay. None of them ever claim that they are extremely, what do they call, pure and holy. No, there is no such claim. In Mahabharata, that incidentally reminds me of a small this thing in dialogue between uh, Yudhishthira, the eldest of the Pandavas, and sage Narada. So, in one such meeting with Narada, Yudhishthira, who is known as the avatar of Dharma, as the very personification, incarnation of righteousness. That is Yudhishthira, the eldest Pandava. One day, as Yudhishthira, before they were cast into the exile by the Kauravas, etc., so they had now established their own kingdom in spite of all the injustices done to them by the blind king who was their uncle. So the kingdom actually belonged to Yudhishthira, but instead of giving it to Yudhishthira, handing it over to Yudhishthira and the Pandavas, the blind king Dhritarashtra insists on sitting on the throne. He has usurped the throne, and now not only that he has taken it to himself, but he does not even want it to give to the Pandavas. In fact, he wants his own sons and Duryodhana, the eldest one, to become the king. So now, here is the mentality of grabbing, possessing that what does not really belong to himself. So something which is taken over by force, over which one does not have any rights, is then called as theft. This is steyam. It is steyam. So he has usurped. And so what has happened now? This Dhritarashtra then gives Yudhishthira a part of the forest, a barren land, an absolutely barren land, and says that you people can go and stay over there and make your own kingdom. These Pandavas are extremely talented, hardworking, and righteous people. So they take it. And not only that, they just take it, they create another city, a small little kingdom right next to that, which was earlier a barren land. And then Indraprastha was that kingdom, and was that capital. And this Indraprastha is far more glorious than even what was earlier Dhritarashtra's Hastinapur. They had they had brought in wealth, they had brought in people, and trade, commerce, learning, everything had flourished in the place that Pandavas had built. Now, looking at that, then Duryodhana becomes even more jealous and becomes ambitious even to assert that which now had Pandavas had created. Hastinapura was the original capital and the kingdom, and it had come ancestrally to Pandavas, but Dhritarashtra somehow has usurped it. Now, in that little phase, why I'm bringing it, this is, this story will continue here and there. You'll have to put the pieces together like a jigsaw puzzle and create it totally. Because our main subject matter is Bhagavad Gita, and not going into that ancient history of India. So what happens over here is when Yudhishthira in Indraprastha is thus looking after the law and administration, etc., of Indraprastha, Narad Muni, this great sage Narada, arrives over there. And Yudhishthira, who is considered to be the very incarnation of Dharma, okay? Yudhishthira is also called as Dharmaputra, he is also called as Dharmaraj, he is called as Dharma Avatar, personification of Dharma. This then comes Narad Muni and questions him, says, "O king, what is the state of Dharma in your life and in your kingdom? Are you people following Dharma?" At that point, Yudhishthira's answer is quite poignant. And Yudhishthira says that, "O sage, we are trying to follow Dharma." Look at that. This is not only humility, but a proper grasp of what is real. There is no need to project himself as being very holy, okay? As being very holy or anything. Yudhishthira says, "Sir, we are trying to follow Dharma." And the next sentence that he says is, "But we are yet nowhere a match to what my ancestors were. The way our forefathers have lived Dharma, I am not close to that." Who is saying this? The one who is considered to be the very personification of Dharma. He says so. So there is no claim of being the greatest, being the brightest, or anything over here. So all the characters are in various shades of gray. Only thing is that more righteousness, and righteousness means they are striving sincerely, honestly to live the righteous life. Now, it means that not that a righteous person should not have desires. A righteous person has desires, but he fulfills his desires in a righteous way. Not that he does not have ambitions. He will have ambitions. Otherwise, if Yudhishthira did not have the ambition to be the king, be the emperor, why would he even come into the battlefield? There is ambition. But whatever is your ambition, whatever is your desire, when it follows the method of dharma, of righteousness for its fulfillment, then that person is called as dharmika, is righteous person. Righteous person does not mean that he will not have any desires or anything. No, he will. But in his life has a direction. And that direction is all the activities, desires, ambitions, etc. are fulfilled through legitimate means. Legitimate means not legal, I'm saying legitimate, righteous way. Okay, just take this as an example, that somebody wants to have money, more wealth. Now creating wealth through begging, through stealing, through murder, looting, plundering, lies. There is, and even you may even become extremely cutthroat competition that trample others, crush them so badly, pulverize them, and then fulfill your ambition. Then this is demonic. Okay, when the ego becomes extremely poisonous, toxic, then it becomes adharma. This is adharma. Pandavas are striving here. And so, because the kingdom has been usurped and whatever belonged to them has been taken away, they come, they send their Sri Krishna as the emissary to the court of Dhritarashtra. Now I'm running into where the battle is getting declared, and then so that we can soon arrive on the battlefield along with Sri Krishna. So we have 10 minutes to do that. Okay. Then already, the Kauravas had shown not only their meanness, but the worst kind of behavior of dragging Draupadi, a woman who is the Pandava queen, and she is being brought, and in that court, this woman who should be respected and worshipped was insulted, dragged, pulled when she refused to come. She was pulled by her hair and brought. And not only that this Duryodhana, the Kaurava, eldest of the Kaurava, of the blind king's son, then he orders Dushasana, one of his brothers, to disrobe her. And this is nowhere. Even to say something like this, even to drag that woman when she was being brought this way, pulled, forced to come into the court, Gandhari, their mother, she was that woman. She said that these people are doing the wrong thing. Now all my sons, even this Dushasana, who has pulled Draupadi, dragged Draupadi by pulling her hair into the court, his life has already finished. His life is already finished because he has done something that is extremely unrighteous. In all these things, I'm just giving you one example, but the life of Pandavas before their exile and before this battle is all, one becomes furious with the kind of injustices that were thrown on this this family of the Pandavas right since their childhood, till the point that their kingdom was also taken away by deceit, through deceit, by Duryodhana, and to this the blind king already is a party. He is so blind in love for his son that he does not see whatever Duryodhana does as wrong. When Duryodhana is doing that is seen as wrong, understood as wrong, even by the most ordinary person. So Dhritarashtra is a blind king. And the blindness over here is his mad infatuation. Thus, now when Sri Krishna arrives in the court over here, saying that give at least a small place for the Pandavas to live, if you are not going to return back their kingdom, because that was the condition, that the Pandavas would be given their kingdom back. And Duryodhana says, because he is full of deceit. He refuses. He says, no, Pandavas have not fulfilled their conditions and therefore we will not give. Wherein everybody even from the Kaurava court, including some great people like Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, Vidura, everybody protests and say that what you're doing is wrong. Pandavas need to be given their kingdom. That is what belongs to them. In fact, the whole kingdom, even without division, belongs to them. So now, when Shri Krishna comes asking so that there is going to be peace, the battle, the fight can be avoided. And Shri Krishna says it can be avoided even if you can give them a small little piece of land so that they can make a little hut and live. Wherein Duryodhana says, not even that. I refuse to give even that much land which can stand on the point of a needle. Thus Duryodhana has shown total, over here he becomes absolute tyrant. And now the battle is inevitable. They gather their own forces and allies. The Pandavas on one side and Duryodhana through his power and threat, he brings in neighboring kings and other people. So Duryodhana has a bigger army. Pandava army is a little smaller than the Kaurava army. So those people who now have supported and have joined Pandavas have joined because they understand, they want to join that part or that force which stands in the paksha of dharma, on the side of the dharma. But those who were allured through some bait, through threats, through their own ambitions, they had joined Duryodhana. So here we have on the battlefield these two armies. Okay. Now the battle is going to be declared. They have gathered over there. The armies are standing in their own formations, and they have come over there. Before we go to the inaugural shloka of Bhagavad Gita, there is something called as or we begin the Bhagavad Gita itself. There is something called as Upodghata, the preface to a book. A preface, Upodghata. Upodghata means that the commentator or even the author gathers the entire subject matter is clear in front of his mental eyes. And in order to arrive at that subject matter, he begins with and he initiates another topic which will lead you or lead the student or the reader to the main crux of that book. This kind of a literature, this form of literature over here, this part of the literature is called as Upodghata. Everything is already there, but and to ignite the interest in the main topic, we have another topic started over here, which is then called as Upodghat. We will chant the first shloka of Bhagavad Gita, but I want to take you through this process of Upodghat over here. Let us read the first shloka and come to it through Upodghat. The first chapter, the Bhagavad Gita totally is consisting of 18 chapters and 700 shlokas, 700 verses divided in these 18 chapters. Each chapter, though has its own subject matter, but throughout the Bhagavad Gita, the only common theme has to be understood, because that common theme is the main teaching of Bhagavad Gita. This is what is the Tatparyam. Tatparyam means Vakturicha. Tatparyam means the intention of the speaker. Speaker, naturally, over here we have Bhagavan Vedavyasa as the author and Sri Krishna as the teacher in Bhagavad Gita. So what is it that is the intention of Sri Krishna or of Bhagavan Vedavyasa over here in giving us this body of 700 shlokas? That intention is important because that is what is intended by the teacher to be delivered through this entire discourse. This intention, this Vaktuhu Ichha, Vaktur Ichha is called over here as Tatparyam. And then what is called as Shravanam technically is Tatparya Nishchayaha, the process through which we are able to ascertain the Tatparyam is called as Shravanam. Generally you must have heard this, all, spiritual aspirants always have heard this, that this is in Vedanta we have Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana. And then Shravanam means listening to Gita, Upanishad, Brahma Sutra is called Shravanam. Hey, technically speaking, the definition of word Shravanam means Tatparya Nishchayaha. Those who want to jot it down. Tatparya Nishchayaha. Tatparya Nishchaya. Now you understand the word Tatparya. Nishchaya means certainty. Conclusion. So the conclusive understanding about what is the intention of the speaker over here is called as Tatparya Nishchaya, is then Shravana. This is what we will say is Shravanam. So, various people in various things, they'll allow their imagination to run amok. And so at times they will say, oh, well, Shravanam means listening very intently. Shravanam means that, your whole body as if transforms into just ears. And you are drinking on the nectar of through the teacher. Hey, only the ears, everything else has stopped its existence, all such things. Now, this is all poetic and very romantic, spiritual romanticism. That is all okay. Those who like it should go for it. I have no objection. I mean, who am I to have any objection? But any which ways, if you are going to ask what is the technical and proper definition of Shravanam, it means Tatparya Nishchayaha. So, when we go through the Upodghat, we understand, it helps us understand what is intended. And then, not only that, then when we go through the entire process of arriving at that conclusive understanding, then it becomes Shravanam. Then it is called as Shravanam. Shravanam over here is not simply meant so that one feels nice. The whole thing is not over here to create a feel-good industry. If one wants to feel good, he can watch a film, he can dance, he can have some, ice cream and feel good. This is not entertainment. This is understanding. This is the process of knowledge. So we will go through this Upodhata, for which we could have chosen Bhagavan Shankaracharya's commentary, but I am bringing you this Upodhata because it is more eloquent, for us from Madhusudana Saraswati. How we will see that. So let us end this class by chanting the first shloka of Bhagavad Gita. प्रथमोऽध्यायः ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। प्रथमोऽध्यायः धृतराष्ट्र उवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः मामकाः पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय। धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः मामकाः पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय। ॐ श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ। Thank you all. Thank you very much.